Hey everyone, I'm back. Happy Black History Month. Um, I don't have my radio intro today. I'm sorry. I'm in the process of making a new one, and I am still getting over my bout of bronchitis. So if I cough a lot during the live show or I sound funny, that is the reason. But I thought it was really important for me to come on because of the fact I keep on seeing all of this propaganda and all of these salacious lies and anything to um, go against starting a union, anything to sensationalize, make doubt. Um, it's really just very transparent to me, but it might not be to other models. It might not be to other performers, but it's very transparent to me that anything that we do is attacked. So I just want to kind of go into the whole reason. Sorry, there it goes. Um, I just want to kind of go into this whole thing about it being a scam union, a scam election, and things of that nature. I keep on hearing that from obviously propaganda blogs, and obviously people against the union that are critics of the union. And I just want to kind of address that whole situation because it needs to be addressed. I'm just tired of hearing about it. Um, Now, as far as me personally, I wouldn't be part of any scam against a union or any union. I'm sorry, not against the union, against the adult industry is what I should say, or scamming people of the adult industry. It's not me. It's not who I am. It's just not something that I've done. And I just want to know where this scam is exactly because nobody on this board is getting paid. No one's salaried. We're not getting any money in. We're not charging our members that have signed up to the union at the moment for union dues because we're still in our structural period, which is about 2 years that you're in a structural period to build your union, get your bank account going, getting your nonprofit going, getting a board together, and so on. That's just the fact of a union. That's how unions work. Um, so there's a lot of propaganda and lies going on because of the fact that a lot of people don't know how a union works, and they know that. And you can go to AFL-CIO and get a lot of this information yourself and really learn about unions and how they work. Um, you can go to any government website concerning unions, and they'll just give you the facts of how union works, how a startup works, and the list goes on. So, as many notice, in the past year or so, we've had board members come and go for a number of reasons. Um, Most recently, our president has decided to step down, Shawn Michaels, because of the fact that he just didn't have enough time to. He didn't have enough time in his life for both. He has, he's an actor, he's a director, he is working on a documentary, I believe. He's doing a lot of things, um, business wise, and then he's also a family man. So he didn't have a lot of time to dedicate towards the union. And so he graciously um, suggested that Alana Evans, our vice president, become the president because of, she was basically the figurehead when he was not allowed, when he wasn't present because of his job and other things. Um, and he knows how hard working she is. He knows how intelligent she is, and he's always appreciated her. So we in the union decided that it would be best to put Alana in that position, and we're really happy with that. Uh, Now, because we've lost so many board members in the past year, uh, due to a lot of times scheduling, no monetary gain. Um, a lot of times people were being hurt in their business because of the fact that the powers that be wouldn't hire them, or it was hurting their job because they were supporting the union. Um, there was just a number of reasons why people left. And I'll get to the other one. I'll get to Melissa Hill after this. Um, but the majority of other people, like John Magnum, Carolyn, Shawn Michaels, sorry, left because of the fact of scheduling issues, and they just were just too busy, either with school or with their work. Or Nikki Hunter also resigned because of work. So it was mostly due to work purposes, and for scheduling reasons. No other reason. Um, Now, with that said, um, as I mentioned before, we're in the structural period, the 2-year structural period, and you're allowed to appoint members to the board because you don't really normally have anyone that's in good standing on. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I feel horrible, but I'm trying to get through this. Um, Give me 1 second. I just gotta cough a little bit more. Sorry, I put it on mute for a minute so I could cough because I know it's so annoying to hear people cough, and I just, I understand. But anyways, what I was saying is we're in that 2-year structural adjustment period, and do that 2-year structural agreement adjustment period. The board members are the ones that vote people in for the democratic process. So basically, we look at the board member's resume. We look at the person's Twitter background, and we ask them if they're going to be able to be present, and obviously work on committees and things of that nature. And then we all vote those people in. And we asked on our union Twitter and our membership if anyone wanted to be part of it for the current election that we're having. And obviously some people responded from the straight and gay side. I was hoping that a trans girl or two would respond, but that didn't happen. So I'm still the only trans girl on the board. But that's fine. But we're still in the structural period, like I've said a million times now. And we just now got our 501c3 number, which is our nonprofit number. So we became a nonprofit organization. We just got our bank account open. We just got our official membership cards for our members. Um, we're working on many different things as far as getting health benefits for our current members. Um, and we've been working obviously tirelessly trying to reach out to any girls that are feeling suicidal and uh, feeling like they're lost. And we're just trying to reach out to them and help them in any way we can. We have a committee coming along with that, and we have a support group coming along, and many things to hopefully remedy the situation. So we've been really busy the last few months, and we work a lot in silence. And of course, we get a lot of criticism because, like, well, what has the union done? What has the union done? Where does, what are they doing right now? And I don't think people realize how hard it is to start up a union when you have producers and the powers that be that are so against it in every step of the way. And then they convince models that they should be against it too. So it's definitely hard to sway people's opinion over. But I have to say in the last few months, a lot of things are changing. And I see a lot more girls and guys signing up. And we won't expose anybody because we don't want to put their names out there so that there's retaliation against them. And we're noticing that more girls are speaking up due to probably the Me Too movement, and they're calling out the bad apples and they're taking a stand, which is so important because there's lots of good directors in this industry, and there's lots of good people in this industry. There's lots of uh, uh, good companies in this industry. But when these good companies and a lot of these good people don't call out the bad players and accept it and let them stay in, we become complicit and we become just as guilty because we see the abuse, we see the neglect, we see the wrongdoings, and we just turn a blind eye to it. So I'm so happy that girls are finally speaking up against their agencies, speaking up against bad practices, speaking up. Because at the end of the day, the union and I myself as a performer just want people to be safe. And I want us to have a healthy working environment. I want us to have a industry we can be proud of. I don't want to be like Hollywood, where we have like loads of abuse happening, we do nothing about it. I'd rather be the example to prove the mainstream society wrong that porn people are bad people. So that's kind of my reasons of being on this union, because I've always felt that there's a lot of sane and responsible and intelligent and lovely people that just need a voice, that just need to be in the spotlight a little to show the mainstream that we're not unreasonable or we're not crazy or whatever the case may be. So what we've done is we put out as far as the voting goes, what we've done is we put out the filler to say, hey guys, we're looking for new board members, and we've had quite a few respond to us from straight slash producers slash performers to gay performers to actors and whatever else. And we were totally upfront and honest with them how the elections are working at the moment until we get members in good standing that are paying their union dues, which is how you become in good standing. You pay your union dues. You make sure you've never been expelled or never been suspended, and that's how you become a member in good standing. And I want everyone to Google any of this. Please Google, um, because it's all there. And what we have done is we have offered these new board members a probationary phase for two reasons. One, to see if they like the board and to see if they want to dedicate their time to it. And so that we also can, decide if they're the right people that are going to step up and really commit to moving the union forward. So we're putting everybody on a probationary phase after we vote them in, if you will, um, because honestly, we need to stop having people leave or say they're going to be dedicated and then leave. Because I, my, myself, just saying myself, and Alana, and Ruby, and Amberlyn, and George, and Tony are all still here, and we're all still working, and we all still want this union. And specifically, uh, Ruby, Alana, and myself do a lot of the Twitter reach out and talking to people to join the union, uh, which is right because Amber Lynn is our sergeant at arms, so she needs to be unbiased, and then George is our parliamentarian, so he doesn't really have a place in that either. And then Tony does his he also speaks out for the union on his own Twitter and does and he's really actually has a lot of great ideas whenever he comes to board meetings and things of that nature. So, um, but that's just the fact of how a union is built and how a union and works. It's not magic. It doesn't happen overnight, especially when there's so many people that are power players that are against you. They're called union busters. Please look up what a union buster is. Um, and they try anything in their power to convince people not to have a union. Just like, I put out a person today because of one of our potential new board members told me about Olivia de Havilland. He is a member of SAG and AEA. And he was telling me about Olivia de Havilland, how she fought the Hollywood system because we're still in an old Hollywood contract system. And I was really inspired by that because she took on Hollywood and she won her case because she was an old Hollywood actress. And at that time, she was kind of on the same kind of contract system that we were on. They didn't pay performers that much back in the day, especially women. So that inspired me, and I hope it inspired others when I shared it from the union account and also from my own Twitter account, because the system that we have currently is really tilted towards the producer, and the performer is kind of on the losing edge. A lot of performers are told they're going to be the next Jessie Jane or the next Jenna Jameson. A lot of performers are told a lot of things and promises that just don't come to fruition for one reason or the other. Because this industry is very cutthroat and it's very hard, and most girls' careers only last about 2 years. And you're just kind of thrown into this industry kind of blindfolded, and either you succeed or you don't. There's not a lot of education on the job, which we're going to try to fix that in the coming year. We really want to make sure that young performers have all the tools they need to become successful in their career, and make a good living wage, have health benefits, and the list goes on. That's what we're fighting for. Um, I just find it sad that people find that to be a scam, that we want to have a living wage or we want, benefits like any other worker. Um, we want to be able to have a retirement when we get older and we retire, especially performers that have dedicated their lives to this industry for a very long time. I just don't understand why so many people are against that. So that's just kind of where we are at with the voting in the election. If anyone else is interested in joining, you can always reach out to me on Twitter, and I will look up I'll put a portfolio together and add you to the list of people that we could potentially vote in. Um, there's no scam. No one's hiding anything. No one's making anything. No one's salaried. We do this because we want a better future for future entertainers, mostly. We want better for the industry altogether. And we feel like Hollywood, we deserve a union too. And we deserve benefits too. That's just the fact of the matter. There's no hidden agenda. There's no scam. It's just propaganda, and frankly, it's bullshit. Um, Now, I want to change the subject to Miss Hill, Melissa Hill. Um, there's two sides to every story, and of course, she's allowed to have her perspective on how things went down. You know, I'm not going to, you know, malign her or go against her or, you know, troll her or whatever. And she's allowed to have her opinion, but I'm also allowed to have my opinion and my perspective of how things gone down, how things went down. Um, what I found with working with Melissa Hill, I found that she is a very kind person, and most of the time, like all of us we try to be kind. But I find that Melissa is a very sensitive person, and she sometimes takes things wrongly. And when she's criticized, um, she doesn't take to it well, even if you do it constructively. And so I think a lot of times in her head, she misconstrues that um, for being against her or saying she's not doing a good job or, um, I guess, bullying her. And that's just that's not the truth. And then according to a fan, she keeps on bringing my name up that I bullied her or I laughed at people. I laughed at people bullying her on the board, and I backstabbed her because I laughed at her getting bullied or whatever. Um, and I do use lots of laughs in a lot of my grammar online because I want people to know that I'm joking or being sarcastic. And a lot of times when you type something, it can be misconstrued very easily, and people don't always get the joke, or that is even a joke. So I usually put joking or put lots of laughs or to make sure that they know I'm not being 100% serious. And another thing that Melissa has claimed is that uh, Ruby, Alana, and myself bullied her for um, being upset over August Ames, or that we were making fun of her because of August Ames. I don't know. Something along those lines she was claiming on her Twitter, which is totally untrue because at the time it was Melissa, when she was still second vice president of the APAG union, it was myself, it was Ruby, and it was Alana that was defending Miss Ames against this lynch mob of people that were just so angry at her um, because they felt that she was homophobic or that she was spreading stigma and hate towards the LGBT community. And we were defending her that it's her choice, it's her body, she doesn't deserve to be um, bullied for this and whatnot. And we did the same thing with a certain girl that's getting bullied right now over her um, racist comments. Um, because, she's also getting a lynch mob at the moment. What I find sad about this industry a lot of times is that we're not the best at communicating with each other. We're not very open to open conversation or criticism or debate, especially the powers that be, like directors and producers. If you challenge them, they will typically degrade you or try to throw you under the bus or call you stupid or, whatever. And we don't listen to each other. We don't allow each other to have opinions and be tolerant of those, and then also try to learn from one another and teach each other or to even have a dignified conversation. Uh, and so I don't see why she would say that we were bullying her at all because we were all standing for August. And just days prior to that, we were working on the antigen agenda and we were talking about the possibility of there could be HIV positive performers in the industry at the moment that are underneath the system or flying underneath the radar. And we were all working on the agenda and we were all happy and we were all, working as a team. All the girls were Ruby, myself, Melissa, and Alana. And then Alana went on, because this was after the August Ames passing, and we noticed that Melissa was becoming more, we could tell that she was very upset, and she was distraught, and she was very sensitive. And she was staying up late nights talking to other girls because, she was trying to help other girls, I guess, on the West Coast or East Coast or something like that. And she wasn't getting a lot of sleep. So, that alone makes people moody or makes them short-fused. But we noticed that when Alana went on her vacation with her husband, and she didn't have signal to her phone, I guess, on the boat, Melissa used that opportunity to attack Alana online because of, I guess, past accusations that Alana bullied people over not wanting to do interracial scenes when that wasn't really the fact of the matter. Because I saw the conversations, I actually Googled them and I looked at them and sometimes I was present for those conversations because I've been on this board for a long time and working with Alana and Melissa. And the model's name, uh, as many know, is Bella Rose. And the reason why Alana and many performers took offense to what Miss Rose said is because of the fact that she was basically saying if you do interracial scenes, the way it came off in her blog, if you do interracial scenes, you're basically at the end of your career, you're less than, you're used up, and what have you. So, of course, that's going to trigger a lot of women that do interracial scenes as as a pit down. And Alana basically told her, you can choose who you want to perform with, but it's not cool to pit down women that choose to do interracial scenes and say that they're, you know, less than. And then Bella, got smart mouthed, of course, and, like most young girls do and most people do. And, so it just kind of went back and forth a little bit. And then people that were in support of Bella and her stance, of course, on choice, but she wasn't really talking about choice. She was more talking about the fact that she was degrading women that choose to do interracial scenes. And that's where Alana's point was and what she was standing up against. But a lot of other porn women were telling Melissa, oh, she's a bully. She bullied me for not wanting to do interracial scenes. She called me a racist. She called me this. She called me that. And we noticed that Melissa's started like attacking Alana of bullying, not just the on her own account, but she started doing it on the union account. And we've already had issues prior to this where Melissa was using the union account as a bully account. And it was actually before I was even secretary, I was still a board member. Nikki Hunter was actually the secretary at that time. And she, both her and I were talking, and we both, you know, decided to go to our president, Shawn Michaels, and talk to him about why we think that, or we actually went to both the vice president and President Alana Evans and Shawn and talked about how we think that, Melissa is misusing the Twitter, and we criticized, and then it was kind of an argument in the little chat group that we have. And, but at the end of the day, Nikki got control of the Twitter, and then Nikki was the one that was in control of it. Well, it was kind of still a power struggle between Nikki and her, and then obviously the union started affecting her time and her job, and she got like a new position, and she said that she didn't have the time to do the union anymore. And then so after that, the union account went back to Miss Hill. And then she basically, was on good behavior for a while, and she didn't like do anything bad. And then in months down the line, she started doing the same thing, attacking entities, attacking models from the union Twitter account, which we just didn't feel like it was professional, and she shouldn't do that. And if she wanted to criticize or go after people, she could do that on her own account and whatnot. And I basically said that to her on Twitter. This is kind of like around the time of everything was going down. I said that to her on Twitter um, because obviously she wasn't listening in the group that we're in, the WhatsApp group that we're in. Um, and I basically did call her out, but I didn't call her out meanly. I just said that I wish you would stop doing this. I wish you'd stop, misusing the Twitter. The list goes on. And at the same time, she was attacking Alana via social media. And, making disparaging remarks about Alana, calling her a bully, and just making all these allegations against Alana. And if any of us decided to respond to her allegations, we became bullies because we're the bullies. And it wasn't just us that were like responding to her and telling her that, this is a personal beef between you and Alana. You need to stop bringing us into this. it was also George. George, tried to talk to, had like a nice letter, a common sense letter, and Melissa was basically, because she was staying up late at night, she was on the WhatsApp group just all night, just texting in the WhatsApp group. A lot of us were sleeping, or a lot of us, were trying to do what we were doing. And, George was like, "Can you stop doing that so late at night?" Um, and she like kind of took offense to that and said that, whatever, you're bullying me, blah, blah, blah. So, but then what happened is, because she knew that we were going to ask for her to be, we that, Alana reported her for, made a complaint about her. And so we would have to have, a board meeting to address the issue. Um, she started calling our sergeant at arms, Amber Lynn, and she, you know, I guess she was calling Amber Lynn at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, or late at night when Amber was sleeping, and she was mad at Amber because Amber didn't want to take the call because she was sleeping. It was late at night, and she even said this on her Twitter that she was mad because the sergeant at arms wouldn't take her call, and she just basically hung up on me or whatever. It was because, again, it wasn't a union issue. It was between her and Alana. It was a personal beef between her and Alana. And Alana and her have had their tits and tats, because, they both had different visions and different views on how things should go. And, they had to kind of compromise because they were both, vice president. And uh, so it wasn't always most, it wasn't always the best of times between those two, but most of the time they worked really well together. And so, but I think what was happening is, in my opinion, is that she wanted us to turn against Alana. It was her opportunity to maybe get Alana off the board. Like, oh, she's a bully. Look at other girls are bullying her. They're claiming that they bullied. Other girls are claiming that Alana bullied her. We can't have her on the board. We can't have her represent us. And so what we think that she was doing is trying to gun for Alana's position, because she didn't want to be the second VP. She wanted to be the only VP. And the karma of it all, which is what, one of the board members brought up, is that now that Alana's president, if she wouldn't have done this and she would have worked it out between Alana one-on-one and not try to bring the union into it or hurt the union or hurt any of the board members publicly, she'd be the vice president right now. That's the karma of it all. Because Alana would be the president, and then obviously, since she was second VP, she'd still be the vice president. So she kind of shot herself in the foot. And she can claim that she resigned because of bullying of members, and that's fine. That's what she thinks is her truth, and that's what she thinks has happened, and whatever. But the fact of the matter is that she took over our union account, and she refused to give it back. Refused. And we had to start a new union Twitter. And that union Twitter has actually grown substantially more now than ever before. We almost have 800 followers. It took us almost a year and a half to get 500 followers on the old account, because I think what she was tweeting, and because of just all the volatile, tweets to companies and to entities and personal attacks against models and whatnot. It just wasn't ran right. And so that's the truth. We have no hard feelings towards Miss Hill. We don't really talk about Miss Hill. She keeps on bringing us up. She keeps on trying to, disparage the union and say that we bullied her and say this, that, and the other. But that's just not the fact of the matter. I didn't see that, wasn't part of that. She also tried to bring me into some kind of argument with Kelly Roberts, and I didn't even know who Kelly Roberts was. Kelly Roberts, I thought she was an agent or something, and I guess she's a blogger. I don't know. Um, and I was just like, Melissa, why are you bringing me into this? I don't have anything to do with it. That's between you and Alana. I guess she wrote some kind of blog about Alana or something, and like that's between you two. Like, why are you bringing me into this? It's just a sad situation because I know that Melissa at the end of the day does care about performers. She does. She sets online, she tries to help them. Um, but she tends to be her own worst enemy. And that's just the fact of the matter. And I'm not going to disparage her. I'm not going to say anything that's, untrue or whatever. Um, but we do wish Melissa Hill luck. We do wish her the best. We hope that her group meetings go well, um, and whatever else that she plans on doing in the future. Um, but as far as that goes, I'm just done talking about Melissa Hill. I'm done talking about the scam union because it's not a scam union, but I wanted to address it. I wanted to get it out there. I wanted to get my version out there. Um, and unfortunately, my voice is wearing out. And I will be back soon with a new radio episode. I love you all. Peace out. I'm going to try to get better. Love you.